I'm Charlie, founder and CEO of Lovo. And at Lovo, we truly believe that video is the superior form of information delivery. Whether you're in marketing, sales, or internal training, across many different industries and many different job functions, video is becoming more and more important. But video editing is a very complicated and costly process, and there's a lot of moving parts involved. And recently, there's been quite a lot of new tools that are popping up that aims to solve parts of this process. But I think we can all agree that, there's just way too many tools out there. So as a business, how do you choose what are the tools that are really going to help you? And once you choose which tools that will help you, how do you orchestrate them in a way that helps your existing workflow? And one of these tools that really stand out that haven't launched yet, but I think it will pretty soon, is OpenAI Sora. And OpenAI Sora, as you've seen all the video demos, they're amazing, right? It will have amazing implications in consumer software, putting the power of Hollywood into individuals' hands. But what does that mean for your business, right? What does it mean for your business's customers, right? Just because you can create videos of King Kong with fairy wings flying through New York City, what does that mean for your customers, right? And so there's a challenge where all these generative AI tools, if they're not used properly, they will have very little implications for your business. And so at Lovo, our aim is to build one tool that will help the entire video editing pipeline in a way that you can create videos that relate to your customers. And that one tool is called Jenny. And Jenny launched last February. It has gained around 2 million users worldwide and around 6,000 businesses. And there are like Fortune 500 companies, SMBs, agencies, freelancers, but also government agencies. And most of these business users, they're using Jenny for creating sales videos, marketing videos, internal training, or customer onboarding videos. And these people are not professionally trained video editors. They're actually, they have no training, and their managers just create a video, and they're panicking, right? And so Jenny is a combination of many different modalities of AI. And when we say we want to build a full stack AI video platform, people are skeptical because each of these modalities are in effect an entirely new startup. And so we don't really claim that we're going to be best in every single one of these modalities per se. But our customers have very specific requirements that if we can solve one or two of the core problems to the successful usage of these models, then it can be integrated into a very successful product for their existing workflows. And so I'm going to go through some examples of some of these models. And I'm sorry if you can't see the text. It's kind of different from my slide design. But for example, we have an AI voice generator, and people really want natural sounding emotional AI voices. But for our customers, especially in sales and marketing, pronunciation really matters. And it seems harder than it does, but getting the AI to consistently say things correctly, even for very specific jargons, is an entirely difficult task. So let's have a listen.
Hey there, I'm just a regular person working in finance. We had to create education videos for a company training session. And let me tell you, one of the biggest challenges we face is creating high-quality educational content without breaking the bank. That's why I was absolutely stoked when I came across Lovo AI, the best darn AI voice generator in the whole world.
Vivek was sitting on an overturned and empty cask, close by the gate of the barricade. A small detachment of citoyen soldiers was under his command. The work had been very hot lately.
Yeah, so you can hear that the voices are pretty natural and state of the art, and in many different styles. And one of the other requirements that our customers really want is zero-shot voice cloning. These marketing managers don't clone their own voice to create videos, or if they're in the customer onboarding side, they want to use their own voices because they already have a relationship with their customers, and using the AI voices in their voice would be much more relatable. And so these very specific requirements is what we're really focused on solving. And in terms of image generation, right, our art customers really want coherent text generation in the images. And it's not perfect, but it's state of the art. And it's also real time. So generation in itself is a very trial and error process. And the more trials that you have, the worse your user experience is going to be. And so the more accurate that the text generation for our users would be, the better the user experience. And also, we have one model that will serve all kinds of styles as well. So we'll do realistic photos, we'll do anime style photos, we'll do cartoon style photos with just one model. And that's very important because our corporate customers, they don't really have the time to go exploring many different models at once. So just one model will really help their user experience. And lastly, our model is very, it has an accurate coherence to the prompt that it is given, more so than other models out there. And this is important because, again, less iteration means better user experience. And lastly, we also have a sound effect generator. And our sound effect generator is kind of unique in that it can model the temporal relationships. And so you can say like, hey, I want this sound after this sound after this sound. And this is also important because otherwise you have to go searching for 3 sound effects files and then merge them together, which is, it seems easy, but more often than not, for these non-skilled video editors, it's a very convenient feature. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty accurately depicting the prompt that it is given, and it follows the orders which the prompt defines. And all of these models together form one single workflow where people come in, generate script, and then from that script they can generate assets like music, sound effects, images, or voiceover. And at the end, what they do is they export video from our platform. We at Lobo, we're always kind of trying to find new ways to reduce this iteration process and improve user experience, because generation in itself is not really a natural kind of action that people were used to. And this thing called prompt engineering, to me, just seems like bad user experience. And one of the solutions to improving this process is entirely community involvement. Generation, if you look at it in a different way, the models don't really, create from nothing. Right? We tell it to create something. It's not, imagining something. What it is doing is actually it is performing a search, right? The model learns from the training data and creates this latent embedding space. And using prompt as a guide, it is trying to search the best result that relates to that prompt. And so, unavoidably, the model is going to make mistakes. And prompt engineering, right? Like the more detailed the prompt is, the better the search will be. But for regular folks, prompt engineering is very difficult. And so for us, what we're trying to do is we're trying to show what other community members have generated in the past for your prompt. So it might be not entirely relevant to the prompt you're trying to get to, but because the results are community, they're vetted, and there's all these statistics where people like the files, people play the files, people download the files to their project, and so it adds a certain amount of credibility to the generation results. And so you can generate new results, but you can also use the results for other community members. And if you think about it, Google search also ranks web pages in the same way. It has a latent index space of all the websites, and then it uses traffic data to gauge how trustworthy a website is. And so in a way, it's a similar mechanism that is happening here. And so the more the community generates on our platform, the more action of the generation becomes an action of search, right? And so really what is key here is to build a larger and larger community database so that people can find relevant assets faster. And in order to do that, we got to reach that inflection point really fast. And we haven't reached that inflection point yet, I think, but I think we're on a good pathway there. One of the ways that we're doing this is making the entire thing free, right, and unlimited. If you look at other generative AI services, they always have a cap, some kind of credit limit. But for us, it's entirely free and unlimited. So you can come and generate unlimited amount of images, sound effects, and music. And yes, that is going to cost us, and we already knew this. So we were violently trying to optimize the inference costs. And while other generative AI companies that are simply wrappers, they have an inference margin of around 25%. For us, it's nearly 75% because we host our own models, but also we were kind of really dedicated to optimizing the inference costs here. And we're going a little bit further by, this is still in research, but we're trying to get these models to run locally on the browser. And so, before it cost us a little bit of money, but now it's going to cost us no money, right? And what this means for the consumer is that we can open it up even wider. It's going to be even more. It's already free, but we can market it more aggressively. People will have no problem just generating in unlimited fashion. But at the same time, because the models are on the local browser, it's going to be much more secure, and no amount of personal data is going to leak into some provider. We already have done this pretty successfully with Stable Diffusion, and we're trying to get this to be working with sound effects, AI voices, and all the rest of these modalities. And while we do this, we do acknowledge that speed is important, and so there's a level of threshold where our customers would be willing to accept, right? Like if it's 10x slower, nobody would use it. But if it's 2x slower, people would accept it because it's free and it's unlimited. And so realizing the balance of realizing where this is valuable is also key for us as well. But I talked a lot about generating the asset themselves, but generating the asset themselves is only a part of the video editing process. What's really important is the human creativity part of it, right? And there's three parts, right? All the things that I talked about so far is related to stock assets, right? Music, stock music, stock images, stock videos, right? But just because you have all these stock assets doesn't mean you have a coherent video. Video really starts from the company's knowledge base, right? And they can write new scripts, but most often these knowledge, they're somewhere, right? They're in Notion, they're in Slack, they're in Google Drive, or they're in learning management systems. So getting access to these knowledge bases in a smooth fashion and digesting them, and helping our users digest them into a video format will be extremely important. And then there's the hard part of the editing part, the actual editing part, putting everything together, all the assets, all the knowledge into one coherent video that their audience will appreciate. And we get asked a lot, Adobe has a lot of AI features they're adding to their platform, and they're great. But the problem is, once you open Adobe, you'll be, if you're not used to that workflow, you'll be flabbergasted, right? It's just too difficult to use, right? There's too many buttons. The buttons are tiny. You don't know what they're doing. And so as an amateur, it's going to be very difficult for you to even get to the AI features. But for us, we designed this from the ground up for non-video editing professionals to use. So it's much easier to use, it's much more intuitive. While we try to give the users the power of AI to produce videos that are Hollywood quality, we also try to give them the freedom to edit whatever they want, but in the user experience that they're familiar with, right? And these people are familiar with products like Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint, right? Ensuring that these user experiences are transferred over to our own product as well in video editing will be crucial, and from the ground up, we've been focused on that. And also, there's been like pretty good research going on. This is from ByteDance, it's not us, but there's been research where you can specify parts of the video, right, and then tell it what to do. And I think this will be very important because if you prompt Sora to do something, right, it's going to do some random crazy things that you might like, but most often you might want this balloon to fly some other way, or this person to look some other way, right? And having that minute detail to be controllable will be extremely important, not just for professional video editors, but for even more so for the non-professional people using this for marketing, sales, or training. And lastly, I talked a little bit about digesting complex business knowledge, but for us, this is really important as well. And right now, we're building a bunch of templates, right? Like once you come, you don't need to design anything. You use one of our templates to start creating your videos. But these templates are not just about design, right? These templates are really more about what content should go when and what format. And so once these are done for all kinds of verticals that our customers are in, mostly like training or internal training or customer onboarding, it will be very easy for us to take that knowledge, just imagine an essay of knowledge on Notion, and digest that in a way that is like separated out into slides, right? And these slides are meant for, each slide is meant for different objectives. And so we're building this out so that we integrate deeply into the customer's knowledge base. And so we're not just a video editor anymore, we're really a tool for them to realize their knowledge in a different format of video, which we think is a superior format of delivery. All right, so I just wanted to end the presentation with our mission, which is we wanted to enable anybody to create high-quality videos without the need for specialized training or very expensive advanced tools. And we like to say we want to be Canva for video, and we hope to be so in 2 or 3 years. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.